Folks, the first thing I have to do is apologize. Yes, apologize. I'm on the air with a sore throat. I sound like crap. I apologize. I'm doing what I can. That's enough of an apology. Let's go on with the news. Welcome to Riell Truth, by the way. Item from the Daily Mail. This is the moment Belgian special forces took down a gunman who shouted Allahu Akbar as he shot and killed 2 police women and a 22-year-old trainee teacher. After carrying out 3 brutal murders this morning, the attacker took a female cleaner hostage in a nearby high school. The footage, and you can see it on the website, shows him running out of the school with 2 guns blazing before he was shot dead in the street. Several officers were injured in the gun battle. The man, who is understood to have been on a day release from a nearby prison, had approached the female officers around 10:30 a.m., slashed their throats, and stabbed them several times from behind before disarming them. He has been named as Benjamin Herman, 36, an alleged Muslim convert, there's a surprise, who had been radicalized in prison. The victims have been named as police officers Lucille Garcia, Soraya Belkacemi, and one other whose name I don't have. But my friends, here's the takeaway. Yes, it's a Muslim. Yeah, yes, excuse me. It's an episode of frightening violence and murder on the streets, but these things are not new. Number one, they let guys like this out from day passes? From jail? That's insanity. Number two, forget Belgium. Here in America, Islam is the fastest growing religion in prisons. Well, who's doing something about that? I'm listening. No one. Right. There are lots of things that could be done about it. Authorities are doing nothing about it. So the most feared, the most dangerous, the most violent criminals in our country are free to take on the violent, barbaric tenets of Islam. What do you think you get when you get a violent criminal combined with a violent religion? Tell me, what do you think you get? You get the religion of peace? No, that's a wrong answer. You get a philosopher? No. Theologian? No. You get mayhem. And what happened here in Belgium, this guy running around murdering people, it's going to increasingly happen here in America because we're doing virtually nothing to stop it. And so, the next time something like this happens, and it happens in America, I want you to listen. I want you to remember the sound of my voice, because I'm the one who's been telling you this for years. It's Tuesday. It's Riell Truth. And yeah, of course we'll be back. Do you have a question about that?
Michael. The American Freedom Network needs your please call 205-6245. That's 1-800-205-6245 to make your donation. Or send a check for the money with PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. God bless people. Truth, freedom on the air. Thank you. Choice City Electric in Fort Collins reminds listeners, out of sight should not mean out of mind. Let's remember our brave men and women in the military by sending care packages to them while they are away. You need not have a specific soldier in mind to help. Just call your local veterans organization. This message is from Choice City Electric in Fort Collins, your electrical and retrofit specialist. Visit them online or call 970-493-4077. That's 970-493-4077.
Beloved, do not believe every spirit, whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone into the world. By this you will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses Jesus has come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that does not confess that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, which you have already heard was coming and is now already in the world. 1 John 4:1.
All right, guys, I'm seeing something very, very disturbing in the news. I'm seeing the name Colin Kaepernick again. Colin Kaepernick, for those of you who may not remember, is the mediocre quarterback who likes to wipe his nose on the American flag and started this whole kneeling during the Star Spangled Banner national anthem. Colin Kaepernick is an asswipe, but there are players, not geniuses, obviously, who say they insist that some team sign Colin Kaepernick. Well, that's not really how it's done. You got to earn your spot on the team, at least in America. And if those NFL players aren't crazy about that, I wish them luck in whatever country's football league they end up in. But here is Tucker Carlson, together with Jason Whitlock, reacting to the NFL's new anthem policy. Here we go. My friends, let me ask you this. We're talking a lot about free speech regarding football players coming out and kneeling. Okay, free speech. I get that. What if a player comes out wrapped in a Nazi flag? Better. What if a player comes out in a Klan outfit? I'm guessing that would also be protected free speech. Would that be okay? I mean, that's free speech, right? Yeah, it would not be okay. My friends, here's something else I've heard during the course of this whole nonsense over the past year. Players who are taking a knee will say something like, yeah, it's about time America had a conversation about race. Well, I follow the American conversation pretty well, pretty closely. When has there not been a conversation about race? It seems to me that you can't sneeze without having a conversation about race in America today. Lo and behold, just in the last few hours, the highly popular Roseanne show has been canceled because Roseanne Barr, herself no great intellect, said something that was racially offensive, and ABC tripped over itself in its rush to cancel the show, almost as if they had been looking and hoping for an excuse to cancel it. So when someone says we need to have a discussion in America about race, they're either real stupid or they're just repeating what some other jackass said. Or what they're really saying is we want to further and continue and expand the victimization society that we live in. Everybody's got something to complain about. America's evil for this reason and that reason and this reason and that reason. And I deserve special consideration because you're a hater. My friends, it's not only a stupid argument, it's a self-destructive argument. As you can see, Americans ripping our society apart. You go out on the football field, you stand for the flag. If you don't, you're fired. I don't see any other way to handle it, any smarter way to handle it. Conversation about race? Well, unless you're living someplace out in the woods with no electricity, you are already part of the conversation about race. The NFL bungled it once again. All they see are dollar signs, and they're so removed from real life that they think these nonsense solutions are coming up with are real solutions, and they're not. Look, I hope the ratings for the NFL continue to plummet. I hope the league goes out of business. Maybe I'm allowed to hope, maybe more Americans will start picking up books if that happens. Take a break. I will assuage my sore throat, and we will be back.
And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network.
Chaplain Collins LLC salutes our emergency first responders for their professionalism, commitment, and bravery. They're willing to put their lives on the line for us with little or no thanks. So let's all take the time to thank our first responders for all they do for us. Also thanking our veterans for the sacrifice they've made for our freedom. This message is from Chaplain Collins LLC, with 2 locations in Denver and Fort Collins, serving the community for over 13 years. Visit them online at chapelcollins.com. Total Concrete Services in Longmont reminds listeners, the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serving our country. Their commitment and courage keep our country safe and strong. Let us honor those who have lost their lives in the line of duty and salute those who serve today. This reminder from Total Concrete Services at 4462 Hilltop Road in Longmont. Proud to serve the entire area and to work on behalf of our future. For more information, call 970-535-4780.
My friends, I've gotten tremendous feedback from the videos I've played of the so-called blonde in the belly of the beast. She's highly intelligent, well-spoken young lady, and here she is weighing in on gender roles and the myth of egalitarianism. Let's hear what this young lady has to say.
Hey guys, I'll start this quickly. You wasn't.
By the way, my friends, I'm going to cut in here. I love what she's saying because it's got the ring of truth, and here's how I know. In my first marriage, for most of our marriage, a good portion of our marriage, I was working, my wife was not. We had a child about a year into the marriage. I would work, and in those days I was working long hours. I was putting in 12, 14-hour days. And when the baby would cry in the middle of the night, I was the one who was expected to get up and walk around with her. Now, if this strikes you as unfair, there's a good reason for that. It was blatantly unfair, and that's what this young woman is talking about.
Well, we've been exhausted.
I am not a masculine woman in a relationship with a feminine man. However, I think that what this young woman says is absolutely spot on. I think that women have bought a bill of goods sold by our media that if they're not out there in the corporate world and not taking charge, well, then they're not really doing themselves justice. Of course, what we've seen in the last couple of decades, 3 decades, I suppose, is that women have caught up to men in alcoholism, in drug abuse, in depression, suicide attempts. Women have damaged themselves because they have bought the garbage that the media is selling them. Caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. Item from the Daily Mail: 10 people, including children, were beheaded by suspected Muslim extremists in a Mozambique village. One of the victims was the chief of Manjane, a village near Palma in the country's north, in revenge for him telling the police the location of their forest hideout. The Islamists were believed to be from the Al-Shabaab, an armed group believed responsible for several attacks in the area since October. They targeted the chief as he had been providing information to the police about the location of Al-Shabaab in forests, a witness said, unquote. So they had a beef with the chief, and they beheaded men, women, and children. 3 words before we go up there for the next commercial break. This is Islam. We'll be back.
Animal House taxidermy and rights. Thank you for reason. Business owners, and to those heroes back home fishing abroad, know that their dedication, and courage are appreciated. If God bless America, this message from Animal House taxidermy right, proud, salute, fighting for our now that testimony is gone, we fight at him. He confessed and did not deny and I am not on the side. And they asked him, what then? Are you alive? He said, I am not. Are you the prophet? And he answered, no. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19. No one anywhere these were men and women put the bill for our freedom every day. And our prayers have been taught. This message is going to be at your 24-hour wall on 2% on 557 on the they're on the air. Come to the king. The water my God. And our posterity to ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America.
All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. I am still Howard Riell. Professor Dr. Janice Fiamengo is a professor of English Studies at the University of Ottawa. Here she is talking about why radical leftism is such an effective strategy. They may be completely wrong-headed, mean-spirited, and dangerous, but what they do is effective. Here's Professor Fiamengo.
The radical left
And delegitimization. That's also key. My friends, don't worry about if it seems like too big a task. God judges us individually. He doesn't say to us, I want you to fix the problems of the world. He says, I want you to do your part. Do what you can do. And doing what God wants us to do is what life is all about. So if it seems like the task is too great, don't worry about it. Not your responsibility. And besides, there are a lot of us out here undertaking the very same task. Stick around and take a break. More Riell Truth.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. If catastrophe struck, would your family be prepared? Are you confident you wouldn't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Barris Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Barris Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality real American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown reminds parents, keep an eye on your child while shopping. Children tend to stray or become lost. This poses an opportunity for a would-be abductor. Please make every effort to keep track of your little ones at all times. If you have information regarding a lost child, call local authorities at once. This message is from American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown. For residential or commercial window tinting, call 303-263-4228.
Now, my friends, the Democrats have spent so much time getting celebrity endorsements and putting together Black Lives Matters and blocking highways and going on TV and yammering about Russia and about Stormy Daniels and Trump. There's one thing they've forgotten with November's elections coming up. They have no agenda. They have no plan for making anything better in this country. Zero, zilch. And the only strategies that they've ever used, they can't fall back on. Donald Trump has just made America very happy by cutting taxes. What are the Democrats going to say? We want to raise your taxes? Here's Ben Shapiro on Fox News.
Let's bring in Ben Shapiro.
Surprise, surprise, CNN is full of crap, my friends, and so are you if you're still watching CNN, and here's why. By now you know CNN lies to your face. So does MSNBC. So if you're watching them, you must want to be lied to, which makes you a fool.
Forwarding.
My friends, this is Adam Schiff. He is the chief liar for the Democrats in Congress. I've given him the nickname Bull, so we'll just call him Bullshiff.
To throw the bombs out.
Oh, you get the point. I don't have to play these lies. Yeah, you're fed up. So, folks, when the Democrats say, we want to give everybody free health care, question, are you brainless enough? Are you stupid enough? Are you ignorant and gullible enough to believe that there is anything like free health care available? Do you believe health care should be free? Good. That means that you will pay for it, right? What? You're not going to pay? You don't have hundreds of billions of dollars to pay for it? I'm going to let you in on a secret. Neither does America. Neither does any country. It's a stupid fantasy that we can give away free health care. And if you're buying into it, well, the conclusion is obvious. We'll take a break and we'll wrap it up. More real truth to come, my friends.
Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits, whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone into the world. By this you will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that does not confess that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, which you have already heard was coming and is now already in the world. 1 John 4:1.
No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debt, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10.
Chaplain Collins LLC salutes our emergency first responders for their professionalism, commitment, and bravery. They're willing to put their lives on the line for us with little or no thanks. So let's all take the time to thank our first responders for all they do for us. Also thanking our veterans for the sacrifice they made for our freedom. This message is from Chaplain Collins LLC, with 2 locations in Denver and Fort Collins, serving the community for over 13 years. Visit them online at chapelcollins.com. Total Concrete Services in Longmont reminds listeners the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serving our country. Their commitment and courage keep our country safe and strong. Let us honor those who have lost their lives in the line of duty and salute those who serve today. This reminder from Total Concrete Services at 4462 Hilltop Road in Longmont. Proud to serve the entire area. and to work on behalf of our future. For more information, call 970-535-4780.
All right, guys, let's bring it home. Item from the Daily Caller. Louis Farrakhan, leader of the Nation of Islam, has called for an end to white men on Sunday morning, saying that their, quote, nature is not in harmony with the nature of God. Farrakhan went on to claim that white men had squandered the time God gave them to rule, alleging that they had chosen not to rule with righteousness, truth, justice, or fairness. Farrakhan's message included a list of traits he believed were, quote, in the white man's nature, namely murder and dishonesty. And he added that while white people were slaves to their natures, what black people do is, quote, by learning from your master, unquote. My friends, I don't know what the hell Louis Farrakhan is talking about. He's nuts. Maybe he's waiting for the mothership to arrive. How he's planning on getting rid of white men, I'm not exactly certain. But as a white man myself, I'm against it. Item from NOLA.com. Jesse Duplantis, the Destrehan-based prosperity gospel televangelist with a global reach, is asking disciples for money to buy a jet that costs $54 million, quote, so we can go anywhere in the world in one stop. He seeks the donations in a video posted last week on his ministry's website, unquote. My friends, if you want to help pay for this joker's $54 million jet, go right ahead. This is America. Item from KIRO7.com. Dateline, Ephrata, Washington. A man trying to burn an American flag blanket started a 5-acre wildfire on Sunday, Grant County Fire District 13 officials said. Ephrata firefighters responded at 6 p.m. to the fire near Ephrata Airport. With the assistance of 4 units, were able to contain the fire. Quote, no matter your political views, we think it's safe to say we can all agree starting a wildfire is no good, said Grant County Fire District 13 on Facebook, unquote. My friends, it surprises me not at all that someone with as little between his ears that he wanted to burn an American flag would unknowingly start a wildfire. These are stupid people. Coincidentally or not, they are liberals. Item from the London Telegraph. Attacks on small businesses by vegan activists are on the rise, according to the Countryside Alliance. Death threats, stoked by social media and encouraged by international groups of activists, have caused butchers and farmers to, quote, live in fear. Marlow Butchers in Ashford, Kent, was targeted early this month by activists who daubed red paint on the doors and windows of the shop, unquote. My friends, you've heard me tell you the truism many times that the real Nazis, the real censors, the real tyrants are always liberals, and here you are. Vegan activists who can't even consider cruelty to an animal have no problem being cruel to human beings. Butchers and farmers now live in fear because of these peace-loving, nature-loving, tree-hugging, vegan activists. Well, my friends, as long as you're eating vegetables, I'd like to recommend something else for you to eat. Unfortunately, the laws of public media prevent me from being more specific than that. But the takeaway is clear, my friends. It's the liberals who are always screaming about fascists. It's the liberals who are themselves the fascists. I'll be back tomorrow with more truth and hopefully with more of a voice. Hasta luego.